Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review, and next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Super Villains Wave 1 Doctor Doom, or God Emperor Doom as he referred to himself in the Secret Wars event from a few years ago. I'm trying to think of what year it was, and I don't remember. That's kind of when I was the biggest into reading comics at the time, was when that event happened. So I have a lot of the Secret Wars. I have the entire run, but I have a lot of the tie-in comics and things from that time, you know, with everything when it came to Battle World. Some of my favorite stuff actually came out of there. So I'm really excited to actually have this figure. I even pulled out one of the comics so I could show you one of the scenes that actually happened in there, because we get that Thanos skull and spine, which is really cool. Because with Marvel Legends, you know, we don't get realistic looking guns, but we can get a damn skull with the spine still attached. Sure, why not? He just straight up rips out Thanos's skull and spine out of his body. You know, that's cool, but a gun? No way. We got to stay away from that. So it's kind of interesting how those decisions kind of get made. But it is what it is. It's just kind of funny. I love the packaging for this because they use a lot of neon greens, some purples, because with Marvel, purple and green are villain colors. You look at Spider-Man Rogues Gallery, right? Green Goblin, green and purple. Mysterio, green with some purple. Lizard, green. So green and purple are one of those things where you just see a lot of villains. So I like the color scheme here. It really helps get the packaging to pop and stand out. So really cool. As you can see, it says Marvel Super Villains and Doctor Doom. Up in the top corner, we get that Build-A-Figure Xemnu side artwork of Doom, looking really cool. Really like that. Here on the back of the package, we have all the figures in the Wave 2 build Xemnu. So Doctor Doom is first. Then we move on to Dormammu. Then Marvel's The Hood, or just, you know, the Hood, Lady Deathstrike, Arcade, Red Skull, and the a.i.m Scientist Supreme. Dr. Doom's bio reads, from the wreckage of colliding universes, Dr. Doom emerges as the supreme ruler of a new domain known as Battleworld. And of course, Battleworld was all the different universes and realities came together to form its own thing. Each the border of each universe, I guess essentially, I think there was a big wall separating them, but there was a lot of tie-in comics at that time. You know, there was this Thor one that everyone was Thor's. Then that's where A-Force started. So the first run of A-Force, where every female character was part of A-Force, kind of, not really, they just kind of referred to it as that. The second iteration, the main Marvel universe, you know, was a smaller team. But that's where Singularity came from, which was an awesome character in that A-Force run. So a lot of cool things came out of it. But anyway, I'm rambling on. 3 minutes in. Let's get Doom out of the package. Okay, so here is the Doctor Doom figure out of the package, and it's so cool that we actually get this accessory. So if you guys don't know, from Secret Wars number 8, issue number 8, let's see if I can get this here on camera for you guys. So there is actually the panel where you can actually see, you know, Thanos squares up to him, and Doctor Doom just rips his spine out with his skeleton still intact. You can see his body just kind of disintegrate. So it's just crazy stuff in there. So Secret Wars, again, issue number 8 of 9. So crazy, crazy stuff. I really enjoyed the Secret Wars comic run. I think at the time a lot of people weren't liking it. I really liked it, and at the very end it got very Fantastic Four heavy. You know, if you know, God Emperor Doom or whatever, you know, was the ruler of Battleworld, of course it then became the Fantastic Four up against Doctor Doom. So I really enjoyed the story. I don't remember everything about it because I read it, you know, at the time that it came out. But some really interesting and awesome stuff that actually occurred, you know, when you had the multiple realities converging and everything. Made for some really good storytelling, in my opinion, and I was really happy with it. But you guys can let me know down in the comments below. If you guys read it, did you enjoy it? Let me know down below. Okay, so here is Doctor Doom. So what we're going to do now is we're going to zoom in and take a look at the accessories that it comes with. Then we'll take a closer look at the figure, do a comparison with the previous Doctor Doom figures that we got to show you guys what the difference is. Because there's actually a few things that are different here. So we'll actually go over that. But first, let's zoom in and take a look at these accessories. So here we have the Thanos spine and skull. And that just looks really, really nice. The jaw is actually articulated so you can get it almost closed and then really wide open like so. It's not on a ball hinge or anything like that, so it's for the most part one piece. I think it's just, you know, like two pieces but glued together, but you can't remove that skull from the spine. That's all going to be one piece, and that just looks really good. I really like the color and the wash that they put over it to really kind of give it that bone look to it. Just looks really good. Now those white marks there, I don't know if that's just something that's going to be on mine, if that's going to be on all of them. So if you guys have the Doom already, you guys let me know down in the comments below if yours looks like that as well. In terms of hands, now out of the package, he has the two like open hands that are just kind of with his fingers spread out. I already swapped one on. He has this hand right here, which is perfect for holding the spine right at that portion there. Then he also has a trigger finger hand for his right hand because he does come with a gun. Then he also has a fist for his left hand. As you can see there, the gun that he comes with is already holstered out of the package, so just like the previous Doctor Doom figures that we had gotten before. So in the holster you can unbuckle it, and then here we have his gun, and it's just done in the cheap gray plastic color that most of this figure actually is. So it's a little disappointing on that end, but let's zoom in for the details. Okay, so here's a close-up look at Doctor Doom. Now, a lot of the pieces on this figure are reused, but we get a lot of new parts actually to him. The hood, not the hood, but the cape is completely new. The torso is completely new, and then these gloves are actually new. I'm not sure if they're reused from a different figure. I want to say they're new because the previous Doctor Doom actually had like the metal glove gauntlet pieces, as you could see there, because you could see like the rivets and things like that. And then the hands kind of had that metallic armor, that metal armor over the hands and stuff. Here we just have regular gloved hands. So the hands are different, the gloves are different on the forearms, the torso is different. The rest of the figure though actually is the same. Same head sculpt that we had gotten previously, and you can see it's similar in color to like the previous one in terms of skin tone. The eyes are a little bit of a different color. I think on the one before he had kind of a goldish looking eyes, but here he has brown eyes, but that all looks pretty good. One big complaint that I have on this figure though, and you guys will hear me, you guys have heard me complain about this quite often, is the gray plastic. So they do a metallic gray plastic throughout, but it looks cheap in my opinion. It doesn't give off a very good metal look to it. This Doctor Doom, it did, because it was a darker silver color. So it really looked like actual metal armor on there. It just looks fantastic. But on this guy, it's just too shiny, and the way the metallic looks, it's almost like there's a clear layer through it, because you could see the fill marks and everything, the marbleization in there. I'm just not the biggest fan of it. If it were this color, man, it would really set it apart, but I just don't like it in hand. Like in pictures and stuff, I'm sure it looks great, but in hand it just looks it looks a little cheap to me. So that's why I'm just not the biggest fan. His belt is all black. We get some silver in there, which is cool. Here we have his weapon holstered there, and again it's just all the gray plastic, so there's very little paint on this figure. We're gonna pop this head off, and we're gonna take the cape off. Again, this is a new cape. As you can see how it comes forward, it just wraps around in the front, whereas here we have the chain that holds the cape. So the cape is new, not a lot going on with it, it's just done all in white. There is a tiny little peg to go onto his back, as you can see there. So he does have the peg hole on his back for you to try and do that. But looking at the torso, what is all this coming on? Oh, there's some kind of powder that's on the back of the figure that's just kind of rubbing off. What the hell is all that? That's kind of weird. But the torso, you know, it's really different. We have the separate neck piece in there, so that's new. There's no swivel in it, but you can get a tiny bit of motion going on in there, and then we do have a ball hinge for the headbutt. I really wanted to show you guys the torso and the biggest difference there. And it's a little disappointing that there is no ab crunch, no diaphragm joint. So it's a little odd. We get some pivot going on in there at the waist, but it's different. I guess I don't mind it so much, but it is still pretty limited. But that's how we looked in the comics. That is pretty good. Looking at that crazy marbleization right there, look at that fill line. It's almost like a cut in the plastic, so you just have to kind of watch out and be careful for some of that. But it looks pretty good. So let's zoom out for his articulation now. Okay, so Doctor Doom's articulation, he can look down quite a bit, he can look up somewhat. You get a full rotation in there, and you actually do get some pivot going on, so that is good. You can get the arm to come up that high there. You get a full rotation. Of course, you just have to kind of work it around that cape. Upper bicep swivel in there. You get a double jointed elbow like so. Wrists swivel, and they do hinge, which is good. Again, that there is a waist ball, so you can pivot to his left that much, you can pivot to his right that much. You can go back slightly, but then the cape's really going to get in the way. Coming forward is like hardly anything, as you can see there, and then you get this twist at that waist ball. Legs go out that far apart. There are cuts in the tunic portion, the skirt portion there, and there's a lot of this powder that's coming off from this white rubber going on there, so that's kind of crazy. Kicking forward, that's really going to get in the way, so you can just kind of kick out a little bit. There is an upper thigh cut in there. You get a double jointed elbow, knee, like so, not elbow. I always make that mistake. There is a ankle ball in there that has a swivel to it. You can hinge the foot down, you can hinge it up. You have some ankle pivot there and peg holes at the bottom of the feet. One thing is my ankles and the feet feel very, very rubbery. So I can like bend his foot a little bit. Every now and then that tends to happen. Sometimes you get where it's like this metallic plastic where it becomes really, really soft. Sometimes it's harder to where it's not going to have any kind of bend. Like I've had some Mysterio figures where I could completely get the foot and like bend it in half. And then I've seen others where it's not so much an issue. Unfortunately, mine, it feels very rubbery. And then because of that, it's harder to get him to stand, especially because he wants to lean back with the cape. Now here I have the advantage that he just, the cape caught him and kept him standing, but it can be difficult getting him into certain standing poses because of how soft that plastic is. It just doesn't want to hold in place because it just becomes loosened up. It's weird. And the problem is the ankles and the feet, not just one or the other, but both of them. Okay, so here are two Doctor Doom figures side by side. I didn't bring the retro one out because it's going to be very similar, just a brighter green color essentially. But I really like the two. You get the more classic look of the Doctor Doom, but I really, again, enjoyed everything Battle World. So all of Secret Wars and everything's with the God Emperor Doom. I really like it, despite the flaws in the feet, despite the color of his armor. I do really like it. Something about the white suit that just really stands out and looks really good to me. And we get some pretty awesome accessories. So let's see how he looks next to, let's do Thanos. Okay, so here we actually have him next to the deluxe version of Thanos, which makes it a little bit tougher because it's kind of a bulkier figure compared to like the Walmart exclusive or something to be able to do that. But yeah, I mean, Dr. Doom just takes down, punches him right in the chest, and just yanks out his spine. It's pretty crazy stuff. Okay, so there he is. What a great way to kick off the supervillains wave. I'm very happy with this Doctor Doom. Yes, I've had some complaints on there, but this is the figure that we got, so it should have been a more silver color, darker for the armor to make it look a little bit more realistic instead of looking so cheap with the metallic gray that I absolutely despise. I hate it every time they use that color. But overall, I am happy with the Doom. I'm happy to get this version. Will we continue to see other Battle World things or other things from Secret Wars? I doubt it, but it is pretty cool to get this version of Doctor Doom. I know a lot of people probably wanted like a Future Foundation Doom where it's basically the green one, but instead of green, it's all white. So this might be a start. I wouldn't be surprised if we do end up getting that version of Doctor Doom. Hasbro will continue to reuse this mold as often as they see fit, I'm sure. But you guys let me know down in the comments below. What do you think of this Doctor Doom figure? Are you happy with it? Did you enjoy Secret Wars? Let me know all in the comments below. If you guys liked the video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.